be a beautiful morning, I can already tell. Hello, Mr. Crow. Look at that tree. Oh, beautiful. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday here on the... Well, it's not going to be Tuesday when you watch this, but it's Tuesday for me. And today, topic of the day. What the hell is that? It's a Burger King wrapper. Topic of the day, topic of Tuesday is e-bike versus regular bike. I want to talk bike v bike because I think if there's, you know, new people discipling, getting new people looking at, you know, how much is it going to take for me to be able to get on the bike every day and go to work. I think e-bikes are a very realistic thing that people look at because don't look at the horse well. I think e-bikes are something that a lot of people will look to because they just kind of make sense. You know, they're, at least in America, they're usually throttle driven. So it's kind of like a moped or like a motorcycle. They can go relatively fast, 25 miles an hour. I mean, depending on how far your commute is, that's pretty good. And all you got to do is charge it up. Yep, simple, right? Well, there are some things to think about once we start going up this hill. We'll talk about it a little bit. Don't want the wind to be too deafening. I think I'm going to be looking for a GoPro mount to go with this quad lock that I've got. See if maybe that'll work a little better on this bike. Just because I've been looking at the Chesty, the GoPro chest mount thing. I know Bike Blogger used that, and it seems like he gets pretty good audio quality with it. But I already wear a backpack, so I don't want to just keep adding things onto, you know, around my arms and stuff. So I might give it a try. The other thing is it's 40 bucks. I looked at it when I went to go get a new SD card, or a second SD card. I'm like, oh, that's too much. So some of the things I'm going to say about my e-bike pertain to regular bikes as well. Some of the newer ones that are coming out have things like disc brakes and hydraulic brakes. For me, when I look at road bikes, I'm usually looking at older bikes. So bikes that have cantilever brakes or V-brakes. Mine have, I can't remember what those type of brakes are called. They look just like V-brakes or cantilever, but instead of it being like a normal V with the wire going to the middle, it's got like an arm that goes around, and then the wire comes up through that arm, and when you pull, it pulls them both together. There's probably a name for it specifically. I just can't think of it. This bike right here, this e-bike has hydraulic disc brakes. I've never had hydraulic or disc brakes before, but that's not true. My mountain bike, my Schwinn, my Walmart Special has disc, but it's not hydraulic, those are mechanical. Hydraulic disc brakes will take a little bit more maintenance because you have to, if air is ever introduced into the system, you got to be able to bleed them. It's not hard to do, you just need to know how to do it, and you need to know what kind of hydraulic fluid you're looking for. I don't know. I think this says mineral oil, and I don't know if that means you can, I need to look into it. I've never looked into it. I don't know if that means you can just use straight mineral oil or if you need to buy hydraulic fluid that has mineral oil in it. And then I'm already, I've had this bike for less than a year. I bought it new, brand new from Rad Power, and I already need brakes on it. But I put, 825 miles on it in that less than a year time, driving back and forth from work and doing some long trips on the weekend. So it's not like it hasn't earned new brake pads. I'm just saying that's another thing you got to think about with an e-bike, is there's a lot more. If you're going faster and you're stopping harder, you're going to wear your brakes out faster. Whereas I'm willing to say, had this been on a road bike with hydraulic disc brake, it probably wouldn't have worn out as quickly. Then I'm still getting used to using hydraulic disc. It's so punchy that I don't think I was slowing down enough before stopping. All right, we're gonna go downhill and then we'll rejoin you at the bottom of the hill. Yippee! So one of the big things I can tell you about the difference between e-bikes and regular bikes, if you plan to just bike to work using the throttle real heavy, just so you're basically using the battery the whole way, you might not be surprised. You might be surprised at how far the battery gets you. But in my personal opinion, in my professional commuter opinion, I have found that the battery doesn't get me far enough. It gets me to and from work. I can make it to and from work, home and back on one charge. Whether that means I'm heavily throttle or heavily petting. Whoa. Disregard that. Whether I'm heavily using the throttle or heavily pedaling, I can make it home on one charge. There's maybe 3 hills I'll use the throttle on, because this bike's heavy. It's a lot heavier than my road bike. My road bike. So that's one thing. The road bike, I don't need a battery, and I can get way farther on it. And I'm not even in the best shape, so it's not like I've been biking for 20 years and I'm in amazing biking shape. I mean, I'm pretty big, and I can make it way farther. I've done 30 miles before on that road bike. This bike, I think I max out at like 20 miles. Probably less than that. But I found it's kind of like it's a horrible comparison. Don't read too much into it, but it's kind of like having a packet of Oreos in your house. Like if you buy the family size and you tell yourself, I'm only going to eat 2 a day, that pack's going to be gone in 3 days, and you know it. Because you eat one sleeve the first day, you decimate half the sleeve in the morning, the next day, and then in the evening you're like, well, I had a hard day. So I found with this, if that throttle's there, I'm too inclined to use it. I'll do it all the time. Like right now, yeah, it's so easy to use that you'll find yourself every once in a while you'll use it, and then you go, well, I probably shouldn't have. I probably should just be pedaling. But this bike's heavy, so when the batteries die, you can get where you're going, but it's heavy and it tires you out. So that's one thing I like about the road bike. Like I said, as long as you don't load it too heavy, I mean, if you're under your own pedal power, you can go until you're done, until you're beat. And I find you don't get as tired on road bikes as you do on other bikes. I don't know if it's the tires, the gearing, or just because you're on nice, predictable, smooth roads, but I don't get as tired on the road bike as I do on other bikes. So that's why I prefer a road bike. The next big thing to talk about is carrying capacity. Obviously, this has a suspension on it, and it's got bigger wheels with bigger spokes. Or the wheels are smaller, but the tires themselves are bigger. The wheel is wider. It's like a moped tire, basically. So I can load this thing with, the big thing for me is once a week I bring clothes to work. So I'll bring pants and shirts to work to make it until the next drop-off time. And I do that so that so I don't have to bring that stuff in on the road bike, because the road bike, I've had spokes break on my road bike, and I've always been wary about overloading it since then. You know, I'll do groceries with that bike, but hauling really heavy stuff, I kind of stay away from that now. I was telling the story yesterday of, there was one time I went to go get my mail, and the way my mailbox works, so I don't have a mailbox, I have a centralized post station, and it's got a bunch of little boxes, and so I'm whatever 130. So you go in, you put your key in 130, you open it, and then you get your mail out, and at the bottom sometimes you'll find a key, and that key means that one of your packages from like Amazon showed up. So take the key, open up the box, thinking it's maybe a jersey or something bike related, something small I can throw in the backpack, and it's a box of cat litter. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm pretty sure it was back during my GMC Denali days, just because I had a ratchet strap still holding my lunchbox down, which that tells me immediately that's GMC Denali days. And so I loaded that thing on there, got the bike sitting upright, and I rode it home. And like 2 weeks later, a spoke snapped on me. And I blame that box of cat litter every time I think about that. I've done the same thing with this bike and it didn't even flinch. The only thing is, obviously, with that much weight, the bike starts to sway. So what I do now, if that happens, the biggest issue is you can't lock the box after you've unlocked it. Hi, Pop. Good morning, cutie. You can't lock the box once you've unlocked it. Slow down a little bit. There's always wind through here. I don't understand it. Yeah, so you can't lock the box once you've unlocked it. So what I'll do, like today I gotta check because I do have cat litter coming again. I just have Amazon send it every 2 months, something like that, so that I have 2 boxes on standby and I can just scoop and not even worry about it. Next time I got to do the litter, there's new litter there. Where was I going? Oh yeah. So I just got to check and make sure I know when litter's coming. So what I'll do is I'll leave the key in the box, I'll go home and I'll grab my trailer and I'll throw the trailer on this bike, then go get it. So weight carrying capacity matters quite a bit to me, because there are times where you do need to carry heavy stuff, and this bike is great for it. You can also get cargo bikes that will do the same thing. Maintenance costs, I mean, that's the big thing. As I've said before, I think maintenance costs on a bike versus a car are huge, because car yearly, just on the yearly inspection, which costs $25 in the state, that already, I mean, I feel like my bikes beat my car, because my bikes don't need to be inspected, so I don't need to even pay that fee. And so let's say this year I need to do tires. A new set of tires for my road bike is like 200 bucks. I haven't priced them out for this bike yet. Thank you, Mr. Corolla. Thought that was my fat pop. tires for my car. They're pretty expensive. I know, I'm looking at tires to do my truck this year. And they are expensive. And I'm going to speed up here for a second, down in the lane, just because I want to hop over here. That's the first time anyone's ever tried to turn there. But yeah, and then, you know, brakes. I did find brake pads on this thing are about 60 bucks to do both the front and the back, which, you know, when you look at versus a car, they're pretty close. I don't know how much a rotor would be, probably roughly the same. But still, economically, I mean, it just kind of makes sense. Plus, I feel like I get a lot longer. I think I'll get a lot longer out of it this time versus last time. So yeah, e-bike expensive, e-bike nice. E-bike helps me not have to bring the car in once a week to, you know, trade clothes. I can just use my e-bike, holds a little bit more weight. Road bike, I can definitely go farther on it. Definitely cheaper to maintain, but that's a personal thing because I buy cheaper e-bike or road bikes. Yeah, my Trek, I paid 500 bucks for it, but it's a used bike. It's probably 10 to 12 years old. This Rad is brand new. Rad City 5 step through. I got the step through because I kind of wanted it like an electric moped. That was my thought behind it when I got it. Highly recommend it, but at the same time, there are quirks about it I don't like. The biggest quirk I don't like about this bike, this will be the last point, then I'll move on to a different topic. The battery the battery is locked into the frame, but with the older Rads, you were able to lock it so that so that you couldn't turn the bike on even though the battery was in it. You had to turn the key the other way to unlock it so that the battery would then turn on. This one, they left that feature out for some reason. I don't quite understand why. It's a huge safety thing. So I have a rear lock on it so that if you're at a store, a Dutch lock, as they call them, I have one of those on it so that, you know, if you stop somewhere, you can just block the back tire. But you know, it doesn't stop someone from turning it on, so it's kind of annoying in my opinion. But it's a small quirk. I work around it. That's another reason I don't like riding this daily. The nice thing that I have that is not an option to everyone is I can bring my bikes inside when I get to work. Hey, this is Shua from Shua Cycles. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, why not leave it a like? I make video essays, bike blogs, shorts, and project bike builds. So why not subscribe down below for more? And we will see you next time. Thank you.